Alright guys, today we're talking about how to get into a Logan Paul vlog. Oh wait, no, sorry, this is a different video. No, today we're talking about what to do in the early stages of a Fortnite game. So it took me about an hour to land on a part of the map where I could pick up a bomb and blow myself up for that goddamn joke. Totally worth it. But before we jump to today's video, I want to talk about one of the comments left in the previous one, which I think is really great. This one comes from Mike Pock, and I said I would do this. I said I would try to read some comments if I miss something. He says, "This is a great post. I do have one point I want to make. In my opinion, the best way for beginners to get better is to get in as much gunfights as possible. Since gun skill is such an important aspect of the game, I would suggest beginners to land in the cities." I think this is a really quality post. I agree to a certain extent. I think an analogy here that would come really well would be to talk about, early game or landing, kind of like, weightlifting at a gym. If you lift something that's way less than you should be lifting, it's like landing at the corner of the map. You're not going to get a lot of gunplay practice. You're not going to get a lot of quick building practice. You're not going to get a lot of weapon switching practice, all that good stuff. If you land in a place that's super crowded, you're going to die a lot sooner. It's like lifting heavy weights. You're going to injure yourself. It's not worth it. You want to find that sweet spot, an optimal amount of weight or an optimal position where you're being tested, but you're also having a decent success rate. So that's a really good comment, and just wanted to point it out. Okay, so jumping to today's lesson, we're talking about how to survive the early game, and I'm going to break this down into a few different categories, and then we're going to jump into some footage and talk about how we're handling certain situations and what the mindset is in each situation. So the first thing you want to look at is, what did you pick up? Make sure to have your best weapon out. If you're inside of a building, the best weapon to have is a shotgun or a submachine gun. If you're in open space, an assault rifle is really good. You don't want to be carrying around a sniper inside of a building. You're going to get absolutely wrecked most of the time, unless you're a ninja and you're some sort of god. But make sure to have your best weapon out. Then, did you pick up any potion? If you did, do you have time to drink it? Are you putting yourself at big risk if you're trying to drink that potion? 90% of the time, I want to say you actually do have enough time to drink it, but sometimes, you land right next to someone, and the first thing you should do is try to kill them and then drink the potion. If you could pick up a medium gun and a close range gun, you're in a really good position. One small final thing that you should look at is trying to set up your inventory so you switch between your two best weapons the quickest. So those little milliseconds of you switching in between items could be very important in the early game. So make sure to have your best two weapons ready to go. The second thing you want to pay attention to is where everyone else is at. So right before you landed, you did a quick 360 turn to just get a general idea of where everyone else landed. So I can't stress the importance of having a really quality headset and being able to hear your opponent's footsteps and knowing exactly where they're going. And not only that, you can also potentially hear them switching between weapons. So if I'm a floor above someone and I hear them switching to a shotgun, I know exactly what I'm getting myself into, and I can be prepared for it a bit better. This could also go another way, is if you hear them picking up a sniper, or if you even saw them picking up a sniper and you're really close to them. This is probably a good chance to rush them and get the upper hand on them while they don't have a pretty decent weapon to defend themselves. Then the thing you want to look at is high ground. It's very important. If you're looking for small advantages, which high ground actually wouldn't be small. High ground is a very big advantage. If you're looking for advantages to get on your enemy, you want high ground. The less they see you, the better, and the more you see of them, better, right? It gives them a bigger or a smaller target, and it gives you a bigger target to aim at. So make sure to get high ground if you can. Lastly, I want to talk about what you should be focusing on the most. So if you see an enemy, a mile away from you on the other side of the map, that's not your priority. In the early game, you don't have that many bullets. You shouldn't be wasting bullets on someone that, even if you killed, let's say you got, best case scenario, let's say you snipe them from the other side of the freaking world. You're not going to pick up their ammo. You're not going to pick up, whatever they had for a while. So focus on whatever's closest to you and take out the biggest threat to you first. Okay, so you've spotted your enemy, they've spotted you, you have a gun, they have a gun. Where do you shoot? Well, the most obvious answer is to go for the head, but if you're a beginner and you're struggling to hit the target, I would say try to hit the target first, and as you improve, try to go for more headshots. If you're holding a sniper, you usually want to go for the head because that's an instant kill. So make sure to know what you have, and there's this cool little table I'll leave in the link in the description where you can see exactly what every single gun, their damage, their rate of fire, how much they do depending on what part of the body you hit. It's really useful if you want to go through it. If you like numbers like me, go for it, have a look. But general rule of thumb, hit the target, and if you can, hit the head. So as you know, or you may not know, if you crouch in this game, you have increased accuracy, but it's not always a benefit to be crouching. If you're in a tight space and you have a shotgun, you're not really doing yourself a favor by crouching. You're making yourself an easier target. So in those situations, I would say it's more important for you to jump around and make sure your opponent doesn't land any shots on you, or makes it harder for them. But if you're medium range, if you've got some high ground, if you can crouch, you should do it. But in close range combat, I would say you don't have to crouch. I would just say try to hit the target and try to be active, try to be moving around. Be aware of traps potentially at any corner. If you hear your opponent placing a trap, try to avoid that area. And the environment is destructible, so you can obviously have different paths to the same destination. Finally, before we jump into some footage, the last thing you should be focusing on is learning from your mistakes. So you will die. I die 1,000 times. Everyone dies. It's just a part of the game. But if you learn nothing from it, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. So if you're recording footage, great, look it over. Even if you're not recording footage, just think about what happened and think how you could have dealt with that situation better. Sometimes the odds are just stacked against you. You land next to a guy, you pick up a revolver, he picks up a shotgun, he blows your face off. It happens. It is what it is. It's a little bit of luck. There's a little bit of luck in the game. But if you could have done something better, if you could have landed differently, if you could have built something, if you could have switched weapons quicker, you should always be looking to improve your game. Alright, finally jumping into some footage. This is a typical game. I land next to this area near Tilted Towers, and immediately I saw a blue pistol, which I thought is a pretty decent weapon. It's one of those medium weapons that we talked about. And the first thing I do is pick it up, and then I look around to see if anyone else is landing in this area. Because I know I'm the first one here, I know I can get some decent damage in here before everyone else lands. And this is really good. I get some decent shots on here. I think I even kill a guy. Yeah, I killed this guy with some really good shots. Blue pistol is a very solid weapon. And I've eliminated already one of the enemies that was in this area. So if I could take everyone out, I know this entire area will be mine. And this next guy, I do see him, but he chooses to go inside. And I don't panic, I have some time here. I need some bullets. I make sure to go inside here and I pick up some ammo. Shortly after, I pick up a shotgun, and it's a purple shotgun, and I see him breaking this tree, and I know he's not paying attention, and I probably could have dealt with this a bit better. I let him have a few shots, or actually I think I only let him have one shot, but he was very efficient with it. And that was one of those situations where crouching probably not what I needed. The better things to do there would have been to, build up and get the high ground on him and make it a super easy kill for me. Alright, so now my focus is shifted to getting resources, and I have some bandages, and immediately as I'm about to use them, I hear this guy over here. And I try not to panic. I know he doesn't have the best angle on me, and it seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. So I kind of let this play out, and I see this little opportunity here where he's not coming in. I decide to heal up, and I know he's not coming in. I'm keeping an eye on both doors, and I'm hearing for footsteps, and I can't hear him moving anywhere. So make sure, even in these like chaotic situations, to see if you have time to heal up, because at 8 health, it's a very tough challenge. I can't really kill anyone with 8 health. Even if it's the worst player, they're gonna have the upper hand. And now I hear someone knocking or breaking the top area, and I don't panic. I give him one good shotgun, 2, and bang, he's dead. And just like that, we have 3 kills in the first minute of the game, and this entire area is mine, and I have some decent guns to start the game with. Okay, in this next situation, we're talking about I would say poor start, because the weapon I have is good, but not good in this situation. So what are we going to do? We're not going to panic. We're going to listen for our enemy as we hear that he's coming up the stairs. We're going to be patient. We're going to wait. We're going to crouch. And if he gives me a little bit of moment, he doesn't know what gun I have, so he's not just going to rush up here. But if he gives me a little moment of hesitation, I could probably snipe him. And that's exactly what happens. So the video lagged a little bit there. I don't know why, but we got a perfect headshot. We pick up his weapon, and we're off to a really good start in this game. Alright, and the final situation we're going to look at is one that happens a lot in Fortnite, which I like to call pure chaos. It just seems like there's way too many people going to a certain area. If you go to Tilted Towers, you'll feel like this all the time, but 4 people in front of me, 2 people behind, maybe even more that I don't see. How are we going to deal with this? Well, we're going to stay calm, or we're going to try to reason this out. So we're going to land on top of this house, and first things first. If we pause the clip right here, there's a guy right behind me. There's no immediate guns in this area. There is, however, a chest, but I know it's gonna take a while to get to that chest, and we're both gonna just it's gonna be a 50-50 at the end of the day. Which whenever one of us opens it, there's a 50-50 chance that the other guy could pick it up. So instead of going to that chest, I'm gonna go downstairs and hope to pick up a gun and come back before he can even get those items. So let's see what happens. So a few things happened there. As I was going downstairs, I was always listening to my opponent and knowing exactly how far away he was from picking up his gun. So if he was breaking down that barrier, I knew that he didn't even get to the chest yet. If he was opening that chest and I heard that sound, I know he still didn't pick up the items. So as soon as I picked up my pistol, I went back upstairs and I was very mindful of what he was doing, or I heard what he was doing, right? So he gets a burst assault rifle, which is not amazing for the situation, and he actually gets a pretty decent shot on me, but it's a little bit late as I unload the entire clip into him, and I survive in the first engagement. And now I'm down to 18 health, and I still shouldn't be panicking. Even though I hear footsteps outside, we're just going to take it one step at a time. Okay, so as soon as I went downstairs, I saw an enemy trying to go for a chest, and I know I can't let him get to those guns because I'm very low at health, so I needed to make sure to kill him. But then immediately after I killed him, I didn't go pick up his items. I checked to see if anyone else was coming up the stairs, and then I threw a grenade just to blow up those stairs so no one can come up easily, or someone would have to at least build, which means I would have to hear them coming up the stairs, and then I went to collect the items. So I still don't have any health, and I know kind of where my enemy is, and they're trying to blow up this house. But the key thing here is I have high ground on whoever's outside, most likely, and I also have a lot of like protection, which means like I can shoot through windows and stuff. And I can't really go in the open because you know, one shot would kill me. So I'm just gonna be very patient here and not panic. Alright, so a few things happened there. First things first, I see my enemy and I decide to build towards him. I have the high ground. There's a convenient little crack between, you know, the wall where I can shoot him. And he decides to throw a grenade, and I don't panic. I know the rooms behind me are pretty much completely destroyed, so I was willing to take a risk and say that grenade was going to go way out of the range, you know, way out of the blast radius. And then the final thing that happened was I took, you know, a lot of his health away. I took away his shields, and I did 3 times 26, which means he's down to 22 life. And now he's panicking, and he's trying to build himself into this little box. And there it is, we get our 3rd kill, and we finally get some bandages. And this is a decent start to this game, considering it was such a crazy start. And I think he made a really big mistake, which was he started covering up instead of just trying to finish me. But then again, from his perspective, he didn't know how much health I had, so he didn't want to assume that, you know, I was down to 18. He didn't know that. He could have thought, you know, this guy has 100 health, I have 22. One shot could kill me. So his mindset was like opposite of mine. It's almost like a poker game. It's like he didn't know what I had. Like if he could have only called my bluff. But the other thing that happened here was he started building a wall, which 99% of the time is gonna, you know, outwork your fire rate. But when you only have 22 health left, that means I only have to get one shot in between those like split seconds where, you know, the wall is down to kill you. So that's exactly what I go for, and that's how it works out. So yeah. And on that note, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to make it as in-depth and as interesting as possible. If you did, make sure to drop a like, make sure to sub, and prepare for lesson number 3, which I don't really know what that will be yet. But I'm excited about making these videos. I'm excited about making content again. So I'll see you next time.